Hi guys. So this is gonna be a little bit different of a video that I'm gonna share with you guys. I've never shared it before. Nobody knows. It's something that I went through back in 2009. This is gonna be a hard video for me to make, but I want to make it. I want to share with you guys. And I noticed I got so many new subscribers. I'm like over 4,400 subscribers. Thank you guys. I know you probably subscribe to me because you see the content that I post. You see like things that I make, DIYs, tutorials, what have you, vlogs. Hopefully I can get back into those. Lots going on this summer, so hopefully I can definitely get back into doing my vlogs again. But I know you guys subscribe to me for that reason, to watch me, you know? So anyways, I want to share with you guys, and the reason why I'm doing this is, don't know what just happened. So I follow this YouTuber. Her name is Tara Henderson here on YouTube. I've been following her for a while, and she kind of inspired me to tell my story. She is a mom vlogger. She's got an awesome husband, and like if you look at her, you would be like, there's no way that this girl went through what I went through. Like there's no way. So hearing that from her, because I watched her Q&A, I watched her other videos before that, I watched her vlogs. I just think she's an amazing, down-to-earth, real YouTuber. Like, she hasn't changed. She's who she is, and I think it's amazing. She's who she is, and I think it's amazing. And she's my inspiration for telling you guys my story. So my story is about addiction. I know your jaws are probably on the floor right now. Pick them up. But my story is about addiction. And man, have I been through it. So if you guys hear any noise in the background, my rabbits are right there and they're kind of like running around. Or maybe it's the dogs, I don't know. So back in 2009, I was dealing with, I still have the issue, restless leg syndrome. And what happens is when you're sleeping at night, your legs don't want to settle down, and they just keep going and keep moving, and it's such a pain because you can't sleep. You're up, you have to take ibuprofen, or you're up all night long because your legs just won't stop. If you guys have restless leg syndrome, you know what I'm talking about. You know that it's a pain in the butt. I'm not dealing with it anymore because I found the right medicine for it. But I was dealing with that, and I was like, I need something for these legs. Like something has to give for these legs to stop, you know? So I sought help from my doctor, my primary care doctor, went to him, and he prescribed me muscle relaxers. And mind you, let me give you a little bit of a background before I jump right in. I was brought up, I wasn't the best child in the whole world. I put my parents through hell and back. I was the rebellious teenager, but I never got into It's kind of like, I don't know. But I was never, I grew up in a good family. I grew up in a good home. And there was no addiction. Like, there was nothing. Like, so this is where I was like confused with the whole situation. So I grew up, my parents are actually, I don't talk to my parents anymore. I don't talk to my sisters anymore. That's a whole nother story. Very personal. I don't want to get into that, and I will not tell my story on that because that's just personal. I don't want to air everybody's dirty laundry out, so I'm just going to keep that at bay and just let you guys know I no longer speak to my parents anymore, and I no longer speak to my sisters. And it's sad, but I had to do it for me. I had to. And because of that, it makes me emotional. Because of that, I'm a better person now. So, I didn't want to cry. But I was a rebellious teenager. I was grounded every day of my life. I was always getting into trouble. I had boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend. I constantly lied to my parents. But as you can see, I wasn't brought up in a horrible house. Like, it was your regular all-American family. My parents, like I said, are still together. I'm gonna be 44. So 44 years they've been married. And I don't know, I guess I'm just the different one, you know? I always felt different from them, you know? So anyways, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, God. So, 2009, like I said, went to the doctors for restless leg syndrome. My doctor prescribed me muscle relaxers. He's like, try these. I don't think he realized, like, how is a muscle? It just didn't seem right to me. So I did. I got the prescription and I brought it home and I started taking it. And you were only supposed to take like one at bedtime. And I started taking it. And I remember my husband saying to me, it's clear as day, babe, please be careful with that medication. He's like, because that's what my mom and my sister, his mom and sister, were addicted to, was Soma, the muscle relaxer. Addicted to was Soma, the muscle relaxer. And I was like, babe, you have nothing to worry about. I've never had an addiction to anything. You don't have to worry. I'm like, I'm perfectly fine. I wasn't brought up around addiction, so why am I gonna get addicted, you know? So, yep, Amy sure as hell got addicted. I was literally, I don't even know how I'm still sitting here on this floor telling you guys my story, because I shouldn't even be here. Like, I shouldn't even be here. I was taking so much muscle relaxers that I was going through bottles a day. I don't even know how I was getting them filled. I don't even understand like how I was getting them filled. It was like one turned into two, two turned into three, three turned into four. Like, it kept going bigger and bigger and bigger, and I wanted more and more and more. Like the high wasn't high enough, and I just needed more. I almost lost my kids. I almost lost my husband. I was driving on those pills, driving. I could have killed somebody. I could have killed my own kids. Like, who does that? Like, who does that? I was a stay-at-home mom for all 3 of my children, all 3 of them. I stayed home, my husband worked, I stayed home with my kids, and I noticed that's when I really noticed my depression was bad, like bad. And the reason why I kept taking that medicine is because it was getting me out. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? It was kind of getting me out of that like feeling in my head where I was feeling really down. It was taking me out of that. Like, I was very overwhelmed with being home all day, every day with 3 children. And not only that, I babysat for when I don't talk to them anymore, but I did babysit. And I don't even know. It's just so hard. I almost drowned in the bathtub. I went to go take a bath one night and I passed out in the bathtub. The water was completely overflowing. And a lot of this stuff my family has told me, my kids have told me, because I don't remember a lot because I was so busy, just strung out, passed out on the front steps because I took so many pills, being rushed to the hospital so many times because I took too many pills. I've been kicked out of concerts because I took too many pills. It was just ridiculous. Like, I look at that, Amy, and I'm just like, you're disgusting sometimes. Like, why would you do that to your family? How could you do that to your kids? How could you do that to your husband? Like, why? But what they don't understand is I was in such a dark place in my life. I don't know why, because I had everything. I'm still married. I had an amazing husband, still have an amazing husband. I have 3 daughters that needed me, and I was there, but I wasn't there. So my husband gave me an ultimatum one day. There's so much more, like, I can't even tell you. My husband gave me an ultimatum. Oh, that's another thing. Oh, I totally forgot about that one. So I had a really good friend, which I'm friends with now. I've forgiven her. And when you're in addiction, you feel like the world is against you, especially when people are trying to help you. You feel like everybody is against you and like hates you and whatnot. That's not the case. They're trying to help you and to get you where you need to be. And I had a friend, our girls grew up together. They've known each other since they were little. And we always hung out together. And she's seen me quite a few times, like, not acting right. She kind of knew something was up with me, like not talking. Like, even my Facebook posts way back then were not making any sense because I would post on Facebook and be all gibberish. And I went to her house one day for, I don't even know how I drove. I had taken muscle relaxers before I went to her house. She had like a Pampered Chef party, and I went to her house and her whole entire family was there. And I was so strung out on pills. I made a complete fool of myself. I guess she had to call my husband. He had to come and pick me up. I don't even know how I drove there. He had to come and pick me up and bring me home. And then I want to say 2 days later, I came home from somewhere. Chloe was doing horseback riding and stuff. So Chloe was doing horseback riding. So I think I was just coming back from that or picking them up at school or whatever or something. I remember that because I wasn't taken anything that day or whatever, one of the days. And I see something in my door, like an envelope. And I was like, oh, what? It's like a solicitor. You know how they leave stuff in your door and whatnot. So I went to my door and I opened it up, and it's DCF, Department of Social Family Services or something, or the people who investigate your house if the kids are being abused or neglected. That was in my door. She called. At first I didn't know who it was, but then I saw like the handwriting, and I knew immediately her handwriting, and I knew it was her. And I was devastated, like devastated. But I'm not gonna go fully into detail. Let's just say I didn't talk to her for, I wanna say 7 years. 7 years went by, I didn't speak to her. She had called me the next day, and I told her never to talk to me ever again. And the years went on and on and on. DCF did come to my house. They investigated, you know, checked everything out, you know what they do, and go through everything and all that jazz. And they didn't find any neglect, which I'm confused, because my husband was taking care of the kids. I mean, they were little, so my husband was taking care of the kids, and I don't know, I'm just so confused. But anyways, long story short, my case was dismissed. Nothing ever came about it. But fast forward all those years, I didn't talk to her. And then through the years, you know, my husband, I was still, you know, taking medicine, and I stopped for a little while. And then I started seeing a psychiatrist, which prescribed me Xanax. Didn't know that was addicting. So not only was I addicted to the Somas, now I'm addicted to Xanax. Somas were history, because when DCF came, I was like, that's it, I'm done. But then I got addicted to Xanax, and same thing. Always on the frickin' Xanax, always. They kept filling my bottle, writing me prescriptions, and I just don't know. But it was bad. It was really bad. So my husband said to me, he's like, Amy, he goes, if you do not get better, he's like, I am taking the kids and I'm leaving. I'm leaving with them, and I'm leaving with myself. And I was just like, okay, I got a lot of thinking here to do, because I could lose them. And my sisters wanted to get me into a rehab, and I refused to go. So I pretty much did it on my own. I went through like periods of like withdrawal, like sickness. You know, when you're on those pills every day, all day long, you go through withdrawal, and it made me like so sick and shaky and everything like that. So I was just like, I have some choices to make, because I'm about to lose everything. Like, my family wouldn't talk to me anymore. Everybody said, it was like an intervention. They're like, we're done with you. If you don't stop taking these pills, we're done with you. You're gonna hurt somebody. You're gonna kill somebody. Like, you're driving. You shouldn't be driving. So I eventually started getting off of, like, I stopped. I did have a couple of relapses through the years, but it wasn't anything as bad as it was back then. So my addiction lasted, I want to say 2 to 3 years. So actually 2011 is when I finally cleaned myself up. And actually, to be quite honest with you, I got off everything. I got off everything cold turkey. It's so weird how it happened. I ended up just going to the gym. I started getting really healthy. I lost so much weight. I was like, going to the gym just felt so good to me. Like, now I have no interest in it. But going to the gym with one of my friends was so, like, it felt so good. I was doing Zumba. I was at the gym like 5 days a week. So then I started substituting. Like, I'm like, well, if I can't take pills, well, now I'm gonna drink. So I'm gonna drink some wine. Or I started like drinking wine all the time. But pills were so much easier. And like I said to my husband, I was like, you don't understand. I'm like, you take a pill, you get the same effect as alcohol, but you don't have the hangover the next day. Which I was trying to explain that to him, but it wasn't working, obviously, because I was an addict trying to explain how, like, trying for me to try to justify the reason why I was taking pills is because I wouldn't have a hangover the next day. But like I said, I was a stay-at-home mom. I was so depressed, so depressed. My depression was like at peak, and that was my escape. That was my escape from everything, was just to take pills and just put it to rest, and I didn't have to deal with it. And then once I became like back to myself again, same thing. It was just like back to back to back to back. If there was an issue, a pill. If we were going somewhere, I'd have pills. If we were going to like a school function, Amy was on pills. If like everywhere we went, I was freaking doped up. Like, it was just disgusting. I look at that Amy and I don't even know who the hell she is. Like, I never want to see that Amy again, ever, for the rest of my life. I started doing like scrapbooking, like meetings, like groups and things at my house and everything. And I met this, they had this website called meetup.com. And I met this woman who went to school with my other friend who had called these, I'm not giving names because that's just personal, who went to school, high school with her. And through the years, I remembered that. So 7 years goes by and I messaged my friend and I said, do you still talk to so-and-so? And she's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, you know what? I've been thinking a lot about it. I told her what I went through, because a lot of people didn't know. I told her what I went through and she was like, oh wow. She's like, I had no idea. And I told her how best of friends we were, how our kids grew up together. We were inseparable. We always like were at each other's house. And she was just like floored, like that was even me, you know? So she ended up getting in touch with her for me because I felt like I owed her an apology, because even though that day that I knew that she called, I knew how angry and mad I was at her. But I'm gonna tell you this, she saved my freaking life. She saved my life, because who the hell knows where I would be right now? Like, who knows? Would I be living a different life? Would I have been in jail? Would I be sitting here like talking in the camera? I could be dead. Like, who knows what could have happened? But at that time, I hated her so much for doing that to me. But at the same time, I appreciate her doing that for me, because it opened my eyes. And like I said, when you're an addict and people are trying to help you, you don't see that. You just see bad. Like, you just see, no way, you're destroying my life, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all you see when they're just trying to help you. So if you're going through anything, addiction, any addiction that you're going through right now, if you're having a hard time with it and you don't want to hear what people have to say, or just listen to them, because at the end of the day, they are just trying to help you. They're not trying to cause problems for you. They're just trying to help you. And I wish I could have seen that back then, but I do see it now. And I ended up reaching out to her, and I talked to her. I apologized to her. I thanked her. And she said she never meant to hurt me, which I knew she didn't. She did it for her own. She did it to help me, not to hurt me. And from then on, I just started getting better and getting out of that like mental state or whatever. I started, like I said, working out. I didn't seek help. Like I said, I saw that psychiatrist, which I stopped going to because he was prescribing me way too much Xanax. I don't even know if he's in practice anymore. But he, geez, it was just so bad. I just think to myself, like, all the what ifs. It's like I had an angel with me the whole time. Like, I was literally driving. Like, I would drive to Connecticut, which is like 20 minutes away from me. Like, I would be driving. I'm so stupid. God, it's like, wake up, Amy. You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? But that's the mind of somebody who's like who's on medicine. Like, they don't think, like, they're so irrational. They don't think. They just think like all about them. Everything is about them and what they can do. And that's what it was. I didn't care about anybody but myself and where I'm gonna get my next pill. That's all I cared about. Like, I was hiding medicine. My husband would find it in our bed, like pills in our bed. I had little secret hiding spots throughout the whole entire house that I would hide my pills. I had them everywhere. I had them in pill boxes. I had them in little jewelry things. I had them I had pills everywhere. And I would constantly lie, like constantly lie. I was lying to him all the time about medicine. They knew even when I wasn't taking medicines, everybody still thought I was taking it. So, yeah. But now I'm doing 100% better. I just had this surgery. I had a surgery on February 10th, and I had to be prescribed muscle relaxers, which were not somas. It was diazepam and oxycodone, which I never got addicted to, like Vicodin, oxycodone, or any of that, because those make me really nauseous. So I never got addicted to those. It was just the muscle relaxers and the Xanax and lorazepam, like here or there. Like if someone had a lorazepam, I'd be like, hey, can I have some, you know? But that was the only thing that I was addicted to. But like I said, I just had surgery. I was prescribed those 2 medications. And I just want to give myself a huge pat on the back because I did it. My kids were so scared that having that medication in the house was going to make me go down that road again. But I said to them, I mean, they're all older. They're all adults now. They're all older. I said to them, I'm like, I will never, ever go down that road ever again. Like, ever again. I had to take that medication because I was in so much pain. Like, I had no choice. But my husband was in complete control of that medication. He knew he was the one giving it to me. He was the one keeping it with him. I had no control over that medication that they gave me for this surgery whatsoever. And he even said to me, he's like, I'm so proud of you, babe. He's like, I'm proud of you. He's like, because when that medicine is like sitting, the medicine that a muscle relaxer especially, that you were addicted to, is sitting right in front of you, literally. And they prescribed me 40 pills of diazepam. I think it's diazepam or diazepam or whatever, I don't know. 40 pills. And I only took what was prescribed to me, and that was it. And I'm so proud of myself, because I was like, no way. I'm like, no way, because the old me, that whole bottle would have been gone in a day. Within a day or two, that whole bottle would have been gone. And it wasn't. It lasted pretty much a whole month of me recovering. And yep. And it's sad because it is a trigger for my kids. They've seen so much, me go through so much. They watched their mother just, I don't know. I just disgusted them. I disgusted myself. I disgusted so many people. And I let so many people down, especially the ones that I love the most, who my kids really needed me and I wasn't there. I was there, but I wasn't there, if that makes any sense. And they were scared that I was gonna go down that road again. And I'm not. I have way too much to lose. I have so much to lose. I have another grandbaby on the way. My oldest daughter's having a baby girl. I have my grandson, Caden, who is the light of my life. I have my girls, my husband. I have beautiful things. Like, I am not going down that road. I'm being treated right now for depression, anxiety, and I take Zoloft, which is amazing. Like, it has helped me immensely. It has put me in the mindset of, I don't know. I'm just so much happier and so much like better, and it's hard to explain. It's very hard to explain. I started getting into meditation and my crystals. I do my crystals all the time. I have my Moonology cards that I do. I listen to like relaxing music. My essential oils. I do a lot of like self-care for me, to help me like just be a better person, be a better mother, be a better wife, and do what I can do to just be somebody. And that's what I have to do. And I'm glad I'm still around to talk about this story. It was I didn't really want to talk about it, but I was just like, you know what? It feels so good. It feels so good just to let it out and let everybody know like what I've been through. I'm not even putting that in. I can't. I just can't. So what I want to say to you guys is, if you're addicted to anything, if you're in an addiction, seek help. Just seek help. Just listen to what people have to say. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but I know you guys can do it. I know you guys can do it, and things will get better and things will get brighter. And I didn't think they would for me, but they sure as hell did. I found the right friends. Even now, I've cut out so many people in my life that I surround myself. That's a thing too. I surround myself with good people, and that makes a huge difference as well. I eliminated so much negativity out of my life that it feels like a breath of fresh air. It's like my freaking sky just opened up, and I'm just loving life right now. I'm loving life right now. And I could say that loud and proud. I am loving life, and I couldn't be happier. This whole thing with my addiction just changed the person that I am today. I know a lot of people bring it up. There's certain people who I don't speak to anymore would always bring it up, throw it in my face. That's the way if you want to get up to me, that's the way to do it. is bring up that past, because it still haunts me till this day. I wish I could go back and just learn and grow from it. And that's what I've done. I've learned and I've grown from it. I've become a better person. And I have my addiction to thank. And I also have my old best friend to thank, because without her, without my husband, without my kids, I don't think I would be sitting here today. And I just wanted to tell you guys my story. It's very difficult to want to say, but now you know. So crazy. I just didn't want to be like people looking at me and thinking that I'm like this. They see me on Instagram, others see me on YouTube and be like, oh my God, she's so sweet, blah, blah, blah. I have a dark side. That was my dark side. And I'm living in a light side right now. But all I can do is just smile, and I'm just so happy that things worked out the way they did. And yeah, crazy how life changes you, doesn't it? You have to go through something so traumatic. I've been through something else traumatic with my daughter. That's a whole another story that kind of intertwines with this one, but I'll tell that story another time. Maybe I'll have her on camera we can tell that story together. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you're in an addiction or have an addiction to anything, just seek help. Things will get better, days will get brighter, and things will work out. I just know they will. They did for me, and I know they will for you. So I love you guys, and thank you so much for listening.